This is the DEFCON Warning System. Alert status for 1530 hours UTC, July 28, 2025. Condition green, DEFCON 5. There are currently no imminent nuclear threats at this time. Turkey has publicly unveiled its first hypersonic ballistic missile, the Tayfun Block 4, at IDEF 2025, the International Defense Industry Fair. Developed by Roketsan under the Turkish defense industry's presidency, the missile weighs approximately 2,300 kilograms, measures 6.5 m in length, and claims a strike range of around 800 kilometers. Classified as hypersonic, it travels in excess of Mach 5, enabling it to evade most current air defense systems. Targeted roles include neutralizing air defense batteries, command posts, and military installations at standoff distances. This places Turkey among an elite group of nations such as the US, Russia, China with indigenous hypersonic capabilities. The capability may shift regional deterrence and could affect Turkey's strategic partnerships, for example with Pakistan, which historically procures defense systems from Turkey. Tayfun Block 4 enhances Turkey's strategic profile within NATO, while raising questions about escalation if it is export-oriented. Neighboring countries, particularly Greece, Cyprus, and Israel, will likely reassess threat thresholds and NATO pre-positioning. Iran has again asserted its intent to continue uranium enrichment regardless of external pressure, and has signaled readiness for another confrontation with Israel. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi, ahead of talks with the European E3 in Istanbul on the 25th of July 2025, insisted Iran will not relinquish its nuclear enrichment program, framing it as an inalienable national right. Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian, in an interview aired on the 23rd of July 2025, declared that Iran remains fully prepared for any new Israeli military move, explicitly stating Iran's armed forces are ready to strike deep into Israel again. He reaffirmed the country's commitment to resume enrichment even after significant damage to nuclear facilities from Israeli and US airstrikes last month. Araghchi also set preconditions for resuming talks with the United States, demanding recognition of Iran's NPT-based enrichment rights and mutual confidence building before negotiations proceed. Meanwhile, European diplomats confirmed that sanctions could be reimposed as early as August, unless progress is made in IAEA cooperation and substantive nuclear concessions. Iran's firm posture reinforces a dual-track strategy, public defiance, private dialogue, while raising red lines for Israeli policymakers and potentially drawing the US back into a confrontation. Iran's declared readiness for further conflict heightens the risk of escalation across the Gulf and Eastern Mediterranean. In Israel, the Knesset has held a symbolic majority vote to annex the occupied West Bank. On the 23rd of July 2025, lawmakers voted 71-13 in favor of a non-binding resolution calling for the extension of Israeli sovereignty to Judea, Samaria, and the Jordan Valley, terminology used for the entire West Bank. Though legally powerless, the motion embodies a broad consensus within the governing coalition and signals political intent toward eventual territorial integration. Authorities in Palestine and Jordan swiftly condemned the move, warning it undermines regional stability and the two-state solution. The resolution may embolden settler expansion and complicate future negotiations. For Palestinians and regional actors, it creates a new political reality that jeopardizes peace frameworks and could invite retaliatory diplomatic actions or violence, including from nuclear-armed state Pakistan or potential nuclear-armed state Iran. Turning to Asia, on 14-16 July 2025, India's DRDO successfully tested the ET-LDHCM hypersonic cruise missile from a test range on India's eastern coast, achieving its intended trajectory and impact with high precision under extreme thermal loads, reported at temperatures up to 2,000 degrees Celsius during flight. The missile is estimated to travel at speeds above Mach 8, with a strike range up to 1,500 kilometers, and is designed to resist electronic countermeasures while flying sea-skimming trajectories to evade radar. This test represents progress in India's Project Vishnu, a domestically developed hypersonic program, positioning India among a handful of nations with operational capability in long-range hypersonic cruise missiles. Despite previous caution from analysts that India's earlier tests were developmental stepping stones, this latest trial suggests near-operational readiness. In the broader Indo-Pacific context, it strengthens India's deterrence posture vis-à-vis China, Pakistan, and future threats. ET-LDHCM's range and maneuvering capability may contest Chinese missile defenses, alter subcontinental deterrence, and compel neighboring states to accelerate their own next-generation development. In tandem with the E3 Iran talks in Istanbul on the 25th of July, the IAEA director warned that Iran could resume enrichment in mere months, stressing that technical knowledge cannot be erased. Meanwhile, France has formally announced recognition of a Palestinian state, becoming the first major Western power to do so. The move, to be formalized at the UN General Assembly in September, has drawn rebuke from Israel, which saw it as endangering peace, and from the US administration. The DEFCON Warning System is a private intelligence organization which has monitored and assessed nuclear threats by national entities since 1984. It is not affiliated with any government agency and does not represent the alert status of any military branch. The public should make their own evaluations and not rely on the DEFCON Warning System for any strategic planning. At all times, citizens are urged to learn what steps to take in the event of a nuclear attack. If this had been an actual attack, the DEFCON Warning System will give radiation readings for areas that are reported to it. Your readings will vary. Official news sources will have radiation readings for your area. For immediate updates, go to www.defconwarningsystem.com. Breaking news and important information can be found on the DEFCON Warning System Community Forum and on the DEFCON Twitter feed DEFCON WS Alerts. You may also subscribe to the DEFCON Warning System mailing list. Note that Twitter updates may be subject to delays. The next scheduled update is August 4, 2025. Additional updates will be made as the situation warrants, with more frequent updates at higher alert levels. Be informed. Be alert. Be prepared. This concludes the update from the DEFCON Warning System.